Well, I think the supply chain's awash with data and low on insights. And most of the data that we need in the supply chain is not usable by traditional systems because most traditional systems are all about rows and columns and relational databases, and the data is disparate, right? So it's unstructured data and it's streaming data. And so to use things like GPS data or telematics data on where a truck is, you need a different type of architecture. And so unlearning in the supply chain to use data is hard because most people, are so vested in traditional thinking, they can't use new forms of analytics. So the whole world of data science and what we can do with market data is an opportunity. And so large builders who have data scientists that can work in the world of Hadoop and R and open source Spark and NoSQL to be able to use market indicators and give good signals to suppliers will win, but it really requires rethinking to be able to drive a good signal.
Yeah, it's a great point that, people look at data as, do I have it sitting in our corporate system or not, right? And if we don't have it sitting in our corporate system, then we say, oh, we can't use data to analyze this. Your point is, if these tractors and trailers have, IoT devices attached to it, now all of a sudden you're talking about, potentially unstructured data, which somehow you have to find a way with all this, what we so-called big data, now what do you do with it, right? Because when we started in our careers, there was, literally no data at all. And now I think I saw some estimate that the amount of bits and bytes there are in the world is 8 times the number of grains of sand that there are on the planet. So to your point, we're awash with all this data. And now the question is, if we live in this data world, how do we end up using it to make decisions? How do we end up making faster decisions?
Now we're into a lot of logistics issues, and the root issue of logistics is that drivers are only paid when their wheels are turning. And because we're not able to be effective at the ports and some of the warehouses, a lot of the drivers are like, I don't need this and I'm not going to drive. I'm going to go do something else. And so we've got some insidious issues around how we manage logistics, and the cost of gasoline at 50% and, cotton is up 50%. So we're going to see these spot market raises, and we're starting to see issues with magnesium because of electrical outages in China. So we're going to have a lot of volatility in price, and we're just going to need to ride the bumpy ride. And the more we can work together as people, suppliers, and try to provide good data, the better we will be.